Hello, I'm Whitney Townsend, and this is Unlikely Celebrity Profiles. This week's guest is a stranger to no one. Her face has graced 1,000 shopping malls and covered everything from porcelain dolls to wrapping paper. Despite knowing her your entire lives, not one of you even knows her first name. My guest is none other than Mrs. Santa Claus. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me, Ms. Townsend.
Ma'am, I'm going to start with an easy question. What's your name?
Mrs. Claus.
What's your first name?
I have no idea. It's been so long since anybody called me by it. I guess it just went away. I'll have to ask my husband. He probably knows. Of course, there's no guarantee that he would even hear me ask the question. He spends all of his time watching children.
Wow. I can't imagine not knowing my own name.
What's the capital of the North Pole?
I don't know.
It's a lot like that.
Could you tell us how you came to be Mrs. Claus?
Sure, it's a very interesting story. A little known fact. The Santa that you all know and love isn't the originator. He's actually the third Santa. The first Santa, Chris, went missing in action shortly before his 300th birthday. You see, Chris was a good man. He loved kids and he loved making toys for them, but sadly he loved the bottle more. He would spend his days in the workshop making toys for the children and his nights in the stable getting shit-faced with the reindeer. And then one night, when they'd all had a little snootful, they decided to go joyriding. And somewhere over horse country, Rudolph lost his footing, sent the entire team, Santa and all, careening towards the glue factory. Only 8 of the original 64 reindeer were rescued. We never found Chris's body. But deep down inside, I know what happened to him. And every time I use my Elmer's glue, I feel like a little piece of him is right here with me.
You don't say. Could you tell us how you two became the Clauses?
Oh, that takes me back. You see, we met when we were children, and we were instantly inseparable. Oh, we dated all through school, of course. Back then, anything past the 3rd grade was considered higher education. And we were in the special class, but we decided to get hitched anyhow. And when we told our parents, they just kicked us both out. With no money and no job and no desire to get one, we decided to become career criminals. We hatched a plan where we could rip off the neighboring villages by sneaking in through the chimneys in the middle of the night. Now, as any master thief can tell you, all the most valuable items are in the children's rooms. So we would steal the dolls from the little girls and, well, whatever it was the little boys were playing with at the time, and we sold it on the black market to visiting tourists. We made a bundle. Problem was, we spent so much time robbing people that we never had a chance to sleep. Made us sloppy. It kind of scrambled our brains. Oh, we started skipping over valuable jewels in favor of used tissue and fur balls. One night, in the midst of a heist, we decided to close our eyes for just a moment to rest. And 8 hours later, we woke up with Father Christmas standing over us, shaking his head in disbelief. It was then and there that our fates were sealed. We were sentenced to a lifetime in winter wonderland. My husband gets out 1 day a year, but I never do, and I never will. How many times can you listen to Deck the Halls before you want to blow your fucking brains out?
It can't all be bad.
Sure it can. It's a miserable existence. It's like being a cat with no tongue. You instinctively want to lick yourself, but you can't. You just can't. I spend all of my time in the kitchen baking cookies that I don't get to eat.
Then why bake them?
Because it's the only thing that keeps us afloat. Do you have any idea how much money it takes to build a toy for every boy and girl in the world? A fucking ton! And Uncle Sam doesn't foot that bill. No, that's all on us. So, we distribute a variety of baked goods to every major chain across the world. Chances are the cookies that are in your cabinet were made right here in my kitchen. What kind of cookies do you buy?
Toll House.
Oh no, that's Keebler country. You don't want to mess with them. They're not like our elves. They fight back. Well, that's my life in a nutshell. I bake and bake and bake some more. I never get to eat them because they're for paying customers only. Of course, that never stopped Santa from polishing off a box or two for breakfast. Well, why should it bother him? He's not the one who stays up late baking another batch of cookies!
Sometimes the couple that looks the happiest is actually the couple that cries the most tears.
It wouldn't matter how many damn cookies I made. It would never be enough for him.
Trapped in a world of absurdity, she devotes her life to baking cookies for a world she'll never see. Despite the depression, a turbulent relationship, and a substance abuse problem, she presses onward as the anchor to a man who's contributed to generations of spoiled children everywhere, who makes one child smile and another stamp his foot because he didn't get what was on the list, whose idyllic image has made trillions for corporations and also sold a lot of coke. This has been most interesting. I think this will go down in the books as the most fascinating and also the most awkward profile I've ever done. You've seen the good, you've seen the bad, you've seen them both, and now you have the facts of life.
The facts of life when the world never seems to be living up to your dreams, and suddenly you're finding out the facts of life are all about you.
What happened to my life? I was going to be a ballerina!
It's okay, we'll get you some Xanax, everything's gonna be just fine. Everything's gonna be just fine. Join us next year for part 2 of our 12-part series.